Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be learning how to drape this trendy turtleneck gown with puffy sleeves. You're going to be needing about 3.5 yards of Mikado fabric to achieve this design. Don't forget to subscribe, like and turn on your notification. Let's get straight into the tutorial. This is the pattern that I'm going to be using. I already drafted the vertical measurements, which is the chest line, the bust line, the half length, the hip line, and the total length of the dress. And from here I'm going to be drafting the body of the dress. The measurement I'll be using is bust 32, waist 27, hips 36, and the shoulder is 14. And also the neck width is 3 by 3. We are going to be adding an allowance of 1.5 inches to the general measurement. So the bust I used here is 32 divided by 4 is 8, plus 1.5 gives 9.5. The waist is 27 divided by 4 is 6.75, plus 1.5 is 8.25, which I'll mark here. Then the hip measurement is 36 divided by 4 is 9, plus 1.5, that is 10.5, which I've marked here. Then the length I'll just take for whatever I get as my hip measurement. I'll just take it in by 1 inch, so just to have that fitting down, you get. So what we have here is 10.5, that's plus 1.5 added. The 1.5 allowance I'm adding everywhere is 10.5 minus 1 is 9.5. So on the length I'm going to put 9.5 here and mark. Then I'm going to be connecting all the dots together using my ruler. So what we're going to do with all the pointed parts, we're going to smoothen them, because we don't want any pointy points. We want them all smooth because our body is curved, it's not pointed. So we're just going to curve this part, the hip and the waist. So this is what we have. We've drafted our dress. So we're going to be cutting out our pattern. So this is our drafted neatly cut pattern, and please note that the front part of this dress is layered, and to achieve this I'll cut 2 pieces of the front pattern. So I'll introduce a fresh pattern paper and cut out the second front pattern with everything equal. So I'll just place our drafted pattern on top of our fresh pattern paper and then cut it out. So now we are done cutting our 2 front patterns, and if you notice I cut both of them on fold. So we're going to place them aside and work on our back pattern. This is the pattern paper we're using for the back. And you know the back is going to have a zipper allowance, so we're going to make provision for our zipper allowance, which is going to be 1.5 inches. Okay, so we're going to draw a straight line indicating our zipper allowance. So right now we're going ahead to cut the back part of the gown, and what we'll do is take the front pattern which we drafted earlier and place it on the back pattern, just at the point where the zipper allowance stops. We just place it exactly like this, then we're going to cut it out. But before we do that, note that the difference between the front and the back is the zipper allowance and also the neckline. The neckline for the back is 3 by 1.5. Instead of the front we have 3 by 3, so we're going to have 1.5 here, and then we're going to connect it to where the front neck width is. So that's basically the difference between the front and the back, but every other thing still remains the same. So right now we're just going to cut it out. So right now we are done cutting the back pattern of the dress, and this is what it looks like. So now we are going to be working on the front layered part of the dress. So what I'll just place this aside and then bring my 2 cut fronts together. So these are the 2 front patterns placed together. We are going to open them up and place them together like this. As you can see, they are equal, and from this fold line, this middle point, we are going to come towards the right by 4.5 inches to create the front layered part of the dress. So from this fold line, which is here, we'll come out by 4.5 inches. From the neckline, you already know we went out by 3 inches, so we're going to add 1.5, making it 4.5 here. We are going to mark, then we use our ruler to connect all the points together like this. So from the center front towards the right hand side, we moved out by 4.5 inches, creating the front layer part of the dress. The layer part is going to be facing the right hand side. Note that. So the next thing we'll do is to cut it out. Don't cut both patterns. Make sure you are cutting just one part of the pattern. So I'll cut this out now. After cutting one part of the front pattern, this is what it looks like. I'll just place it on top of the other front pattern, and this is what we have. This is our front part of the dress drafted out with our layer on top of it. So this is what it looks like. So now we're going to cut out the sleeves, and to cut the sleeves, we'll first of all determine the length we are going to be using. The sleeve length we'll be working with is 21. And you know the sleeve has a balloon effect and also a band. So we'll be subtracting the band length from the total length of the sleeve. And for the band length, we'll use 4 inches. So that's 21, which is the total length of the sleeve, minus 4 inches, which is the band length. That is equal to 17 inches. So the length we have for the big sleeve now is 17 inches. But because the sleeve is not exactly straight, it has a balloon effect, we'll add 5 inches to our 17 inches, making it 22 inches. So that's 17 plus 5 equal to 22. And note that the joining allowance is included in the 5 inches we are adding. So now we are drafting our sleeve using a bias cut. When you want to cut a bias cut, you fold as if you are going to be cutting a flare. The only difference is that at the bottom, as you can see, this is what we have. It doesn't need to be equal. This is a bias flare. Your fold needs to be diagonal in this format. So the next thing we are going to do is to insert the length of our sleeve, which is 22. But first of all, we'll draw a straight line to draft our sleeve like this. Then insert our length, which is 22 inches. and then draw a straight line connecting it like this. So the next thing we're going to do is to draft our sleeve cap height. The sleeve cap height we're going to be using here is 3 inches. Draw a straight line and then insert our armhole length. How do we get the armhole length? We bring our bodies that we have drafted and then calculate what our armhole length is, and here is 9 inches. So we're going to impute that here, 9 inches here, and then draw a straight line from the middle to like this. Find your middle point, 4.5, go up by. I have a detailed tutorial on how to draft the sleeve cap height, so I'll leave the link in the description box. You check it out like this, and then this is our sleeve. As you can see, it gives that balloon effect. So this is how to draft your bias cut sleeve. So the next thing we're going to do is just to cut it out. So this is what our sleeve looks like. We are going to cut the band next. So to cut our band, we are going to be folding our paper like this. We are going to fold our paper like this and then draw a straight line to indicate our wrist point. And as we said earlier, the length we're going to be using for the band is 4 inches plus joining allowance, that is both up and down. We're going to use 1.5. That would be 4 inches plus 1.5 is 5.5. So we're going to insert that here like this. And then connect this point. Then while taking your measurement on the client, you take it from this part because that's where the band is going to start from. On my body it's 8 inches. So on this point here, you are going to put that 8 inches divided by 2, which is 4 inches, plus sewing allowance, that is 5 inches. And on this part, where is the sleeve, where is the wrist, you are going to measure it also on your client so that it fits perfectly. This is 7 inches for me. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5 plus 1 inch sewing allowance, that's 4.5. You mark it like this and then connect this point to this point, to the wrist point like this. So that is it to draft your band. It is that simple. Next thing is just to cut. So that is it for the band of the sleeve. So you know, while sewing, let's put the band and the sleeve together. You are going to gather the sleeve to fit into the band. So it's going to look like this at the end of the day. This is the end result after sewing. This is what it's going to look like, and that is it for the sleeve. The next thing is to draft the collar. So I'll just get a fresh pattern paper and fold like this triangularly, like this. This is to cut your bishop collar neckline. And once this has been folded, what you need to do is at the bottom of the fold, you make a curved line like this, like this. and then cut along and make sure it's curved and not straight. You cut it like this. As you can see, it looks like a cone. From this button of our cone, we need to get the width of the collar. It varies and it all depends on you, whether you want it big or you want it small. For this tutorial, I'll be using 2.2 inches so that after joining the up and the down, it ends up being 1.2. So I'm just going to measure here 2.2, 2.2 all round like this. And then connect it. Like this. Then I'll cut it out. This is what it looks like. So note that you're going to cut 2 pieces of this. Use one for the lining and the other one for the main neckline. You first of all notch your center front, because we are going to be fixing the collar from the center front all through to the back where we have our zipper allowance. If your fabric is a bit light, you can use fusible interfacing. So you measure this against your neckline, and after joining the body of your dress together, that's the one we had drafted earlier, you make sure that this collar we have cut here fits perfectly on the neck of the dress. If it's too long, you can reduce it. If it's exact, then you're lucky, it's okay. So you stitch together the top, because you know you are cutting this into 2, one as your lining and one as the main collar. You first of all join it at the top before you fix the button to the dress, and close the sides at your center back. That is it for the bishop collar. So right now we've come to the end of this tutorial. If you find this helpful, give this video a thumbs up, leave all your questions in the comment section, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. See you next time.